Hey guys, I figured I would. Okay, I'm gonna try to film this without taking too long because I do have dance in almost 2 hours. No, no, like 2.5, I would say. At 4:30, pretty much. But I wanted to film this video because I was trying to come up with a video idea for today, and I also was trying to come up with one for tomorrow and the next day because I kind of learned now from last week to plan videos for Tuesday and Wednesday that don't involve stretching really or any form of a lot of movement because I'll get to that in a minute. But I figured for today I would do some things about being a dancer, the good, the bad, everything about being a worldwide dancer. I'm specifying worldwide dance because that's what I know. And I'm gonna be giving you the tea. I'm gonna be telling you details and things. And I'm just gonna be sharing some of the things I like. And things I like about my teachers, the classes and stuff, and then some things that aren't the most fun things. And kind of just being honest and telling you everything. Telling you what I don't like about the teachers and stuff. Now, let's begin. One thing that I will say that I don't like, this is the thing that I don't like, but that's not really, is one of the things that isn't fun, but you kind of have to put yourself through it in dance. And at first, I hated them. At first, I didn't fully know what it was at first, but then I learned what it was very quickly, and I absolutely hated it. And it was every week I'm maybe I'll get lucky and we won't do it this week or something, and then we would end up doing it, and it was tiring and not fun, which is conditioning. Luckily, we had it, the first worldwide that I did, we had it every Thursday. And then the second worldwide was only a month. So, the first one was 3 months. The second one was the summer one. And we only had it for, we had it for maybe a minute every Thursday. It was very, very quick. We would, do it for maybe a minute, and it would be two things, one or two things, and we would go straight into warm up with Miranda, and I love Miranda as a teacher. We don't have her this time, but it's one of the things I'm really sad that we don't have her, but I also am in the sense I like Miranda as a teacher, but I'm happy with the teachers that we did get and stuff. But yeah, I generally do wish we had Miranda sometimes, just because I like Miranda. Miranda was a good teacher, and I feel like she's definitely top of my list. I have a list of favorite teachers, and kind of I try to be fair with it, and I don't go off of the style or the class really. I go on how they teach, or how they work, or run class and stuff. Because if I went off of styles, it would be kind of unfair considering that one teacher could be doing tap or ballet, and I'm not big into ballet, so just to be fair. But Miranda was really nice. Don't worry, me and Miranda still talk every once in a while, so we're good. But I really like Miranda. She was fun. She incorporated the Zoom people and the in-person people. She made sure everyone was incorporated, and she was like, she would give corrections, but in a nice way. She would be like, oh, okay, well, you might want to fix this, or like, she was very nice about it, and I love Miranda. But conditioning, luckily this time we don't have conditioning. We have it every once in a while if we like get a substitute teacher, but now, and for those who don't know what conditioning is, it's kind of the same thing as a really hard workout. That's very tiring. And as a dancer, it's one of those things that you have to have, but it's not a fun thing. And this, I feel like a lot of dancers will tell you that. That's not always fun, but you have to have it. And at first, I hated it. I would be like, maybe we won't have it today. And then it kind of just got to where eventually I kind of just realized that and this I learned from Angela, is that if with that, make it fun. And I learned how to do that, which because I realized part of why I hated it so much at first was because first off, it's not fun. Second off, we always did the same song, and I was kind of getting a little bit over that song. But the song's good. Nothing up against the person who wrote it or anything. And to be honest, I forget what the song is called, but I like the song. It's not a bad song. I don't ever listen to it outside of dance, but that's just because I only listen to people that I watch on YouTube. But I was starting to get over that song, because it was so many of the teachers would use the song, and week after week I was just hearing that song sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. But what I did was I came up with a little hat. In the living room and in my bedroom, we have an Echo Dot. And we also have one in our classroom and my parents' bedroom. The one in the living room is an Echo Dot, and the one in my parents' bedroom is an Echo Dot. The one in the classroom and my bedroom is an Alexa. I had to whisper that. I didn't want to set it off and make it do something. But it's great, because then I can just be Echo, I'll play this or something. I can just I play my own music and kind of drown out the music that they're playing and make it a little more fun, so I can listen to JoJo while doing conditioning. And I'm gonna start with the downsides. I'm dancing, I'll get to just being a dancer and stuff, and then we'll talk the good things and that sort of thing. Another downside, and don't think of me complaining too much. I love dance. There are downsides to it, but overall I love it so much. This one is probably one of the most tiring downside. It's not the most tiring downside, but is a very tiring downside, which is you're constantly in class training. That's true. Oh, I have dance, and so actually, I'm gonna tell you the full story. Or we actually are supposed to have dance 5 days a week. We're supposed to have Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, but I don't do Fridays, and the reason is because Fridays is Acro with Abby. It's Acro with Abby. I love Abby so much, but the reason that I don't do it, well, there's multiple reasons. With the last worldwide, so here's the thing. The first worldwide that I did, we didn't know we had access to it at first, and we kind of like what happened with that. I heard something about like a Friday like Zoom class with Gianna, but like I didn't know the timing or anything, so like what ended up happening with that, I just randomly logged on to see at like a random time, and then all of a sudden, or no, something about how I thought was like at like 5 or something, and then all of a sudden Abby's assistant logs on, and it's like, Abby will be on here in like 10 minutes, so you can start warming up. And I'm like, oh wait, looks like we're doing Abby's acro class, okay. And then after that, I was gonna keep doing it, but we never knew like the timing of it. And like sometimes we would look at the thing and it would give us a time, and then like at first we would look at the thing, it would give us a time, but we would wait and log on 3 hours later because it was usually, or we thought it was California time, which is 3 hours behind our time. Then and after that we realized, oh, maybe that's wrong. Like we could never figure out the time. Like eventually they started specifying that was California time, and even then we still couldn't figure out the time. And then I did acro one more time after that with Abby, which was because we got an email from them saying they were inviting all of like their spring and dancers to come join them for acro or something. But then with the last worldwide, it was listed in the schedule for that, but I didn't do it because, first up, acro is not my area. Yeah, here's the thing, and I'm gonna be straight up truthful and honest here. Acro, I'm bad at acro because, and part of that is because with acro there's a lot of flexibility involved, and flexibility is not my area. It's getting there, and actually now I would say it's actually pretty decent. Like far as leg flexibility, like leg and waist flexibility is decent now, but airplane. But that's pretty decent. Back flexibility isn't great, but that's also like you have. No, I would say back flexibility has gotten pretty good. I think with some of the stuff that involves back flexibility, I think I'm bad at it because, not because I can't do it. I don't think that's it, because now I'm starting to realize something, which is that with some of the tricks I learned something which is, and that with some of the tricks, a way to make it seem like you have more back flexibility is to use your waist more. Like put more on your waist and not all on your back, and only a little bit on your back, and it like helps so much and stuff, like, or for me and I'm never gonna have like fabulous back flexibility. I have rods in my back. Actually, I do think I will get pretty good at it though, considering I'm pretty decent as it is. I feel like once I start to push and use my waist flexibility a little more, because that still needs some work, or I feel like then I'll be able to do some of the stuff a little bit better. But I feel like most of it is that I get kind of freaked out about, like, and that, like, same thing with, like, back bends. And I'm gonna actually try to not do it today in class. Is that I'm gonna try, every time we do a fall-in back bend, I basically never worked on a fall-in back bend. And I always did a push-up back bend. And I don't fully have my back bend, but that isn't because I can't do it. It's more it has nothing to do with back flexibility, and I can tell it has everything to do with weight, because when you're doing a back bend, your weight has to be distributed onto your hands and your feet, and I'm still figuring that part out. Because, and I'll say this because I can almost do a full back bend on a bed. I feel like if I push myself a little bit more, I'll be able to. But with the bed, you almost don't have, like for me anyways, when I do it on a bed, I don't feel like I have as much weight to lift up to do one. But when I do it on the floor, I can't. Because there's so much weight and it feels heavy on my hands and stuff. So yeah. But I kind of just, with acro, some of it's tumbling and stuff, and I feel like with the falling back bend, and I think part of it is just being a little iffy and nerve, because you're basically falling. You basically just gotta trust yourself and fall onto your hands and feet. So I'm gonna try to do that today. And I'm hoping that if I tell myself you're good, it's fine. If you fall, you're gonna land on carpet and potentially on the bed. You're good. Then I feel like I might be able to. And I'm not really scared, it's just more I'm iffy on it. Sorry, I was cleaning some gross stuff because behind my ear, because since I got earrings or got my ear pierced, they build up sometimes, and usually I clean it with my actual ear cleaner, but sometimes every once in a while, if I'm filming or something and I don't want to go get the cleaner, I'll just clean it with my fingers real quick, and then I'll clean it later with my ear cleaner. But yeah, so I kind of just never did Abby's acro class, and also because it kind of pushes tight with my school schedule, even though I can be hey, I can basically just tell my parents hey, I have to log on at this time, and they'll understand and adjust my school schedule. But I feel like I already have so many advantages with schooling that I kind of just feel like I don't want to give myself one more for acro. Plus I get acro on Mondays. So that works out. Another downside to being a dancer, this one is the worst one. This is specifically, I never went through this actually not true. I went through something similar with the first worldwide, and then kind of once I got through the first couple weeks, it got a little bit easier, which was pain. With the first worldwide, we had conditioning on Thursdays, and afterwards my body would be kind of sore, a little bit sore, but it was never my full body. It was always my shoulders and maybe my arms. And so Saturday Friday I would spend the whole day not doing anything, just kind of getting over it, and by Saturday I'd be good to go. This time we have Abby's acro class and Abby's warm-up on the same day, on Mondays. And last week was hard. Last week I was sore for 2 days. I'm not joking. And I woke up Tuesday. Luckily we didn't have dance. And I almost couldn't get, I was so, I was definitely in a little bit of pain. And it was more spread throughout my body, so that made it worse. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad, but it was not fun. And then, I'm not joking, when what happened was I forcing myself to get, I like took a bath, but I put really hot water. Like really hot water. Like to the point where it was almost a little bit too hot for me, because like everyone likes like a bath a certain, like, or a shower or something a certain temperature. So I went a little bit too hot for my liking. And I forced myself to get in it. And just sit in it. And like not move. And then every once in a while I would move. And then finally after a little bit I'm like, okay. It like helped for like 10 minutes, and then it was back to just not being fun. And then Wednesday I freaked out because Wednesday I'm like, I was still kind of sore on Wednesday, and I'm like, I have class later on today, and I can't even fully do a split right now because my body is telling me, no, don't do splits and stuff, like take a break. And we have a warm up and stretch, and we have like to go through like stretching and like dance class, but I forced myself to do it because as a dancer there is a saying that is true. Which is, as a dancer, or if you're hurt, you gotta push through and dance and try your best. If you're injured, you shouldn't dance. And since I wasn't injured, I was hurt, I had to push through and make myself do it. And then afterwards, I actually felt kind of good. And so, yeah. Then, but yeah, being a dancer, there is some downside to it, like, but there's not a ton of downside. Now, overall, like, the teachers and stuff, there's no real downsides to, like, the teacher, but I will say, like, top of my list, I kind of have, like, 3, maybe 4 people that tie, and then I have, like, some people that are, like, right. I right behind them on my list of, like, teachers that I like. But obviously, top of my list is obviously Abby Lee Miller and Gianna Martellos. Like, they are amazing. I love Abby's class because here's the thing. I love Abby just in general. Like, I've been a big fan of Abby pretty much since, I think it was like 2000. Wait, let me do math. Like, okay, I'm trying to do math here. We moved out 2019. So 3 years. So like since 2016, I've been a big fan of Abby. Well, no. Yeah, I would say like the end of 2016 and be close to the beginning of like 2017. So like, I've been a big fan of Abby. I discovered Dance Moms and I discovered JoJo and all of that. And what happened was at the time I wasn't really subscribed to a lot of YouTubers and stuff. And one thing was that, one thing was, that I was watching YouTube one day and I discovered JoJo's song Boomerang, fell in love with JoJo, and been a big JoJo fan ever since then. But like, Abby, in the way that they played her out on the show versus how she is in real life, it's shocking how horrible they made her come out. She not a horrible dance teacher. That is one. She's actually really, really nice. Yes, she's hard on her dancers. Yes, she expects a lot from them. She demands a lot from them, and she pushes her dancers to the limit because she wants to see them succeed. That's her job. Her job isn't, she's a dance teacher. She's not your parent. Like, here's how I look at it. And this, like, they kind of talked about it on, like, the show, I think, or something at one. I don't even remember. That there's different positions. There's your dance teacher, and their job is not to tell you you're the greatest. Their job is to point out your mistakes, your flaws, and tell you what you're doing wrong so you can fix it and be a better dancer. It's not their job to tell you you're the greatest and, like, coddle you, no. So she does her job. And then that's something that I get so annoyed about. Because, like, every once in a while, actually not, I just get annoyed because I know this is a thing. And it's when parents are like, people who are like your parent and stuff, or parent like figure, or like get mad at your dance teacher for pointing out your flaws and mistakes, and I'm like, that's their job. Let them do their job. They're not trying to be mean when they're doing, unless you physically hear them say, I'm trying to be mean to your kid. They're trying to help your kid. They're trying to make them be a better dancer. Because if no one points out their mistakes, when they go out in the professional world, where people point out the mistakes, that could be the reason they don't get the job. Because they never fix the mistakes because they were never told that the mistakes were even there. It's the parents' job to be nice and encourage you. Like, obviously you don't want, like, the teacher screaming at your kid saying you're horrible and all of this. But you do want the teacher to be like, okay, fix this, and this could also be fixed, and make sure that gets fixed. Like, in a nice way. Point out the flaws in a nice way, and that's what Abby does. And I really like Abby for that, like, because I work good with people who are always on me, and that's something that, like, is one of the things that I like is my parents are not coddle parents. And it's like, the person that keeps me motivated and dancing, it's not my parents. I'll tell you that much. It's me. My dog Sam will, like, come up and, like, he'll be, like, cute and, like, stuff. Because there is times when dancing gets hard, and it gets hard on me and it's never because of, like, teachers and stuff and parents. It's because I'm hard on myself. If I see a flaw in my dancing, I try to fix it, and if I can't, and I scream at myself in my head, like, you should be able to fix it. Even if it's something that can't be fixed right away. Like flexibility. That takes time. It doesn't happen in 10 seconds. You can't stretch for 10 seconds and then be insanely flexible after 10 seconds of stretching. It takes a long time. It takes a really long time. And so for me, I put so much on myself that there are times when I'm like, I have to remind myself, sit back, breathe, watch some JoJo, watch some Eliana and the Squad. Like, I get your mind off of it, forget dance for like 10 seconds, just take a minute, breathe, play with Sam, do something to, like, not think about for like a minute or two. and when you come back, you're better. You're in a calm place. And I remind myself to do that all the time. Because it does get hard. And because I feel like I've always been the person that, like, I always try to impress the teachers, even if it's something that I know is above my head. And that, even Abby kind of brought that up last week, which was that last week I was trying to do things in acro class and just in class in general that I knew there was no chance of me being able to do. So I can't even kick up into a handstand. And I feel like I can hold a handstand, and it's the kicking up into one. And stuff to do a like front walkover and stuff, which actually once I get a handstand, I'll actually feel like I might be able to do a front walkover because it doesn't look hard. It's like getting the handstand and like letting yourself like trust fall with your arms up when you end. And you have to like kind of split it or like try your best to split it. But like like my parents, and they don't let me slide. Like if I like am like, oh, I'm gonna miss like this class. Now unless it's acro, they don't let me slide. They're like, no, we paid for this. You're gonna do the class. As you tired isn't an excuse. Now the reason they let me slide with acro is because they kind of understand it. We've been over and stuff, and they understand it. But like, it takes a lot of work to be a great dancer, and that's some. Here, I'm gonna make part 2 in a second.